Chapter 2. My doctrine is his that sent me. In John chapter 7, verses 16 to 17, it says, Jesus answered them and said, My doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me. If any man will do his will, he shall know of the doctrine, whether it be of God, or whether I speak of myself. The great masters of all ages have all taught the same doctrine, the identical method of freeing the soul from the fetters of mind and matter and of entering the kingdom of heaven, while still living on earth in the physical body. The way that was taught by Jesus to his disciples is the way that is taught today by the perfect living masters. The way is called here the path of the masters, or, because it is a scientific method of achieving continuous and certain spiritual progress and successively higher states of consciousness, it is called the spiritual science of the masters. In India it is sometimes called Sant Mat, which means the way or teachings of the saints. Sant means a master of the highest order. Mat means philosophy, knowledge. Sant Mat refers to the philosophy or teachings of the masters based on knowledge gained by direct personal experience. In the present times it is comprehensively propounded by the Radha Soami teachings, Radha Soami being an appellation of the supreme and nameless Creator, God. Its literal meaning is Lord of the Soul, Radha meaning soul and Swami meaning Lord. The spiritual science or yoga of the masters, the doctrine of him who sends masters to this world, is the supreme science of all sciences, for it deals with the ultimate truths of man's nature and destiny, and the ultimate purpose of all human life. It teaches the student, by a method of guided scientific experimentation, how to make direct and permanent contact with his Creator. It is a science based on laws which, though they have always existed, are not generally known. And it is the greatest of all sciences because it turns ordinary mortals into divine beings. Briefly, says one of the greatest masters of recent times, Huzur Maharaj Baba Sawan Singh Ji, it is a practical method of separating the soul from its combination with the mind and the body, and then uniting it with its source, or the Supreme Creator. It has also been described as a scientific and spiritual method of entering and realizing the kingdom of heaven while still living here in the human body. If a method of spiritual growth and the development of a higher life and consciousness are to be considered not as mere words, but as a practical and scientific system, it must provide indisputable evidence to prove its validity to all who are willing to try and test it. This the science of the masters does. For the attainment of higher states of consciousness, liberation from the bondage of mind and matter, and entry into the kingdom of heaven while still living here on earth are not empty theories or matters of wishful thinking. They are specific accomplishments that can be achieved, tested and proved by all who are willing to follow the simple rules laid down by the true masters. No blind belief or blind faith is called for when one is following this path. As the student follows the instructions given by the master at the time of initiation, he subsequently obtains through his own inner experiences definite proof of his spiritual progress and positive confirmation of the truths enunciated by Jesus and all other great spiritual teachers. Some of the facts comprising the teachings will be new to many, but they call for no credulity. While the teaching sets forth some basic truths that are not generally known in the West, it asks no acceptance on faith alone. Instead, it offers a method by which the interested student may prove for himself each and every assertion that it makes. It proposes nothing that is to be believed without ample evidence. It is a scientific method that yields verifiable results with precision. We live today in a predominantly scientific and intellectual age, and our times demand a sensible and rational explanation of spiritual matters. Many have found this rational and scientific explanation in the spiritual science of the Masters. Whoever studies and practices this science with the help and guidance of a properly qualified teacher will receive increasing confirmation of the existence of God and the truth of his own divinity through his own first-hand experience. The science of the Masters is thus an empirical science, based on verification through personal experience. Its methods are exact and its results uniform. In all ages of the world, among all races and in all countries, all who follow its methods achieve exactly the same results. The fact that the spiritual work of the Masters is an exact science is quite difficult for some in the West to grasp, accustomed as they are to thinking of religion and spirituality as matters of faith and belief alone. But the readers for whom this book is intended will find that the Master's science contains the inner essence and truth of every extant world religion, and it gives its followers not only hope for the future, but positive certainty and present realization. This is possible because the Masters are not mere preachers, but may accurately be described as super scientists. They have knowledge of laws of which the material scientists are totally unaware, and they use these laws to hasten the spiritual development of their disciples. It has been said that a small amount of science or philosophy often leads to atheism, but a larger amount brings men back to God. The spiritual science of the Masters is the larger amount for which many have been seeking, for its purpose and the inevitable result of its practice are to lead men back to God. While the teaching of the Masters goes far beyond that of any present-day world religion, there is little, if any, contradiction between it and the fundamental precepts of the organized religions. The sincere reader should bear this in mind and not permit preconceived dogmas to block his investigation. The path of the Masters is offered as a supplement to what he already possesses, no matter to what religious organization he may belong. It does not wish or try to do away with what he already has, but aims to give him additional light by way of confirmation. This is a study that offers the most valuable rewards to true scientific research, for it provides the means of securing man's deepest and most enduring happiness. It offers both consolation and certitude, both peace of mind and peace of soul, to those who are in distress, for it proves that there is a way open to all, and open now, leading to the everlasting life which is enduring treasure and eternal joy. The material science of today undertakes to trace everything to physical causes which are perceptible to the human senses and mind. But the science of the Masters teaches and demonstrates that the principal and basic cause of everything is the imperceptible and all-powerful Spirit, and by its method of scientific demonstration, it provides the most positive proofs of everything that is claimed by any religion, and then goes far beyond them all. As Jesus said, this path is not the doctrine of any individual master, but the doctrine of the Supreme Father who sends the Masters to the world in order to help mankind. It is the method of approach and return to God established not by man, but by the Supreme Creator himself. It is as old as creation, having been taught by the Masters since the beginning of human life. For human beings of superior intelligence have lived on this earth for an infinitely longer period of time than present-day scientists and archaeologists imagine. This path in more recent times was the secret of the highest mysteries of ancient Egypt and Greece. It is a perfect method which has not changed in the past and will not change in the future, because it has been a perfect science since the beginning, instituted and practiced by perfect men of God who never make mistakes. The study of the writings of the sages shows that no matter in what age or country they appeared, they all followed and revealed to the world this same spiritual way. The way has always been the same because it is God's plan for the redemption of all mankind. For these reasons, the spiritual yoga of the Masters has by some been called God's own religion. How this is so will become clear as one reads and understands the facts given in these pages. In speaking of these truths, the Master Sawan Singh says, "This method of spiritual uplift is natural, within all, designed by God, and as old as creation itself. It is the design of the Creator, and none can alter, amend, or add to it. It is as ancient as man. The Creator, when he created man, designed this path in him. Ages ago, long before the earliest religions, such as Buddhism, Zoroastrianism, and those based on the Vedas, this simple truth was known and taught that man, when aided by a perfect master, can consciously unite with the divine while living in the physical body. The teaching of the Masters is sometimes called a religion, but unlike the orthodox religions, it has no organisation, no priests, no dogmas, no ritual, no ceremony, and requires nothing to be believed without evidence. Its entire structure is based upon positive knowledge, which any student may demonstrate for himself. Thus it differs significantly from those religions whose followers are accustomed to placing their reliance on belief and faith alone. The system is strictly a scientific one, and at the same time, it is the very essence of real religion. Every religion has two aspects, the outer or exoteric and the inner or esoteric. The history of religion shows us that in the beginning each one centred about a spiritualised God-man or master, one who was in close and constant unity with God. To him was given the mission of preaching the doctrine and the power of bringing his followers into touch with the inner reality, of teaching them how they could rise up, enter the kingdom of heaven, and commune with their Creator. This esoteric form of the teachings continued as long as the Master or his spiritually advanced successors were on earth to teach and guide spiritual seekers. But when the leadership passed into the hands of those who were less spiritually advanced and lost the spiritual presence and power of the God-man, who was the original preceptor, that path lost the power of giving its followers direct and conscious contact with their Creator. Thereafter, by degrees, it became largely a matter of creeds, dogmas, prayers, rites and ceremonies. Entering the kingdom of heaven then became largely a hope that might be realised after death, rather than a definite and vital personal experience here and now, made possible by the spiritual power of the living Master. But there always are living masters in the world, revealing the true spiritual way. There are such masters even today, pointing out with their divine power the inner or esoteric path to those interested. Many people in the Western world who have heard or read of the path of the Masters have asked the pertinent question, what is its relation to Christianity? The answer is this. The path is identical with Christianity, if by that term we mean the spiritual teachings of Jesus. The teaching of the Masters does not change with time. It is the same in the past, the present, and the future. The living perfect Masters of today teach precisely the same spiritual truths as those that Jesus taught when he walked the earth. The spiritual science of the Masters, however, is not Christianity if by that term we mean the system of dogma and theology that was created by men other than Jesus during the centuries that followed his presence here on earth. The esoteric or inner part of every existing world religion is one and the same. The spiritual truths, principles, and practices that underlie them are identical. These truths were taught by the founders of all the world religions and are taught today by the living masters who are now with us. The masters of Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam and Taoism taught in some degree the spiritual science of the masters that is described in this book. A comparison of the statements contained in this book with those made by the masters of the different world religions who taught the esoteric truths will show that this is the case. In every instance, the esoteric teaching is not a man-made one, but a God-made one. For in each instance, the founders of religions and the genuine masters have taught not their own doctrine, but the doctrine or system of him who sent them to this world. And this is the age-old, natural and perfect system designed by the Creator for the express purpose of liberating man from the bondage of the body and mind and enabling him to enter and enjoy the kingdom of heaven here and now as well as in the future. It is only the living masters who can show us how to do this here and now, however, while all religions point to the hope of it after death.